The former porn star Maya Khalifa has, is it Mia or Maya? Let's go. Mia. Well, let's go with Maya. The former porn star Maya Khalifa has gone viral this week with some marriage advice that she offered to her Instagram followers. Now, you wouldn't necessarily expect great marriage advice from somebody like this. The world of cyber prostitutes is not revered for its marital wisdom or any other kind of wisdom. So you're probably thinking, what worthwhile advice could this former porn star possibly have to offer? Well, I can say that life is full of surprises. In general, I mean, but not in this case. The advice is god-awful, just like you'd expect. Here it is.
Oh, we're comparing stats. Baby girl doesn't know that I am Tom Brady at this game. Married at 18, divorced at 21. Second marriage, married at 25, divorced at 28. Third engagement, engaged at 29, ended it at 30, but I kept the ring. I'm still keeping Tom Brady on his toes. We should not be afraid to leave these men. We are not stuck with these people. Marriage is not a sanctimonious thing. It is paperwork. It's something, it's a commitment you make to someone. But if you feel like you're not getting anything from that commitment and you're trying, you gotta go. You gotta go. You have to go. I know it's difficult to fill out paperwork and to make appointments and to do all of these things, but this is your life. Do you want to be stuck with someone? Period.
This is what happens when women try to make sports analogies. Maya apparently doesn't understand that Tom Brady has 7 Super Bowl rings because he was victorious in 7 Super Bowls. He won a lot. That's why he has the rings. But Maya is a loser, a failure. She keeps failing at marriage, and which makes her, if anything, the anti-Tom Brady of the marriage game. In fact, even that gives her too much credit, because, I mean, Tom Brady, that would be like, Tom Brady did make it to, it's like if he lost a bunch of Super Bowls or something. But no, she's more of an NFL washout, a draft bust. She's the Jamarcus Russell of marriage. She's the Johnny Manziel of matrimony. You get the idea. This only goes to show why I have put certain parameters in place for anyone who wants to dispense any marriage tips at all. Now, according to my rules, which don't have the force of law behind them, but should, you are not allowed to give any advice on this topic unless you have been married for at least 10 years and you have at least 1 kid. From there, the longer you've been in it and the more kids you have, the more seriously your advice can be taken. Here's one area where trust the experts really does apply, except that the experts don't have to have any academic credentials. Their resumes don't matter. All that matters is that they've actually done the thing and they've experienced the challenges of marriage and family life and they've learned how to navigate them successfully. Taking advice from Maya Khalifa would be like having a driving instructor who's been behind the wheel 3 times and totaled the car all 3 times. Obviously, that would be a bad idea. Now, there's probably not much point in responding point by point to the horrible guidance that Maya is offering to women here. She's correct about one thing, which is that marriage is not a sanctimonious thing, but she's only correct because she's semi-literate, so this was accidental. Marriage is, on the other hand, a sacred thing. It's a covenant. Saying it's just paperwork is like saying that the home you live in is just paperwork. It doesn't make any sense. Yes, you sign some paperwork as part of the process of buying a home, for example, but doesn't mean that the home itself is not paperwork. And you sign paperwork as part of the process of legally binding yourself to your spouse in marriage. But the marriage itself is not a piece of paper. My kids all got birth certificates when they were born, but my kids are not birth certificates. Okay? Marriage is the same way. It is a living, breathing, vibrant thing, a union, a commitment, yes. But if, as Maya says, that commitment is null and void the moment you feel that you aren't getting anything out of it, then there's no commitment. This is a mercenary arrangement then. Okay, it's like if you built a roof that collapsed under the weight of a slight drizzle. The whole point of the roof is to shelter you from the elements. If it can't withstand any of the elements, then the roof was a sham to begin with. It may as well have not existed. Let me ask you something. What if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing you did every minute of the day? I think that'd be pretty creepy. Well, what if I told you it's exactly what happens every time you go online? Your internet provider is allowed to store logs of every website you've ever visited and can legally sell this data to anyone. That's why I always use ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers so your internet provider can't see or log what you do online. Now, many of you might be wondering, well, if I'm routing all my data through a VPN, then doesn't that mean that the VPN can see what I'm doing and log my data instead? Well, many VPNs claim to have a no logs policy, but they've been caught logging customer activity anyway. ExpressVPN servers run through RAM, though, and this means that it's impossible for them to store any of your data, including logs of any ExpressVPN customer. Don't wait. Use my link at expressvpn.com/MattWalshShow to get 3 extra months free. That's expressvpn.com/MattWalshShow. Most likely, if you feel that you aren't getting anything out of your marriage, especially if you feel this way and you just got married like a week ago or however long it was in Maya's case, it's a very good indication that you're looking for the wrong things. You're expecting the wrong things from it. It's like claiming that your oven is broken because it won't wash your dishes. That's not what an oven is designed to do. The oven isn't broken. Your expectations for the oven are simply insane. For marriage, you cannot expect, as Maya and so many women like her expect, that it'll be some kind of machine that exists to constantly make you personally happy all the time and make your life easier and more fun all the time and keep you entertained and enraptured at all times. This is what the Maya Khalifas of the world expect of marriage. It is indeed what they expect of everything and everyone in life. And when they don't get it, when the thing does not provide them immediate and superficial happiness on a silver platter whenever they ring the bell, then they declare that the thing must be defective, and they are morally justified in smashing it to pieces, no matter who is hurt in the process. Again, these narcissists approach all of life this way, so it's no surprise that they bring this same sense of entitlement into their marriages. And it's even less surprise that this entitlement has the same effect on their marriages that it does on all other aspects and areas of their life, by making them and everyone around them miserable, and ensuring that they will fail at everything that they half-heartedly attempt to do. Marriage is supposed to be a deep source of fulfillment and purpose and joy, but like any other worthwhile thing, it requires work and sacrifice. You have to dig deep into the earth to find diamonds. There's no use complaining that they don't fall out of the sky. Besides, if they did, we'd all be killed anyway. The point is that the good and beautiful things in life require work, and it's just as simple as that. You have to dig for them. In the context of marriage, the digging doesn't need to be backbreaking or terribly strenuous. It's not like marriage is constant drudgery with moments of happiness thrown in. That's not the point. Most of the work is just like living your everyday life and meeting the normal types of challenges that come your way. The kinds of challenges that you would have to face if you were alone, only now you have somebody by your side. So in many cases, life challenges can be quite a bit easier when you're married for this reason. But you cannot expect that the other person lives simply to make you happy every second of the day, as if they have no life or identity of their own, and as if the marriage is your plaything which exists for your personal entertainment. It is virtually guaranteed that this is the attitude a person brought into marriage if they get divorced a year later or 2 years later. Like, we know this is someone who didn't want a spouse. She wanted a video game character that she could control for her amusement. Now, this is all probably pretty obvious. Newsflash, if you're shallow and selfish, there's a good chance your marriage won't succeed. Maybe not breaking news for most people, but I think the real thing to be learned from Maya's video, if anything at all can be learned from it, is that this is why so many young men are terrified to get married. They have a deep and certainly not entirely unjustified fear that they'll end up in a marriage with a woman like Maya Khalifa. The young man who's afraid of marriage is afraid of it because he doesn't want to give his heart and his life to a woman who then treats this sacred union like a piece of paper that she can throw in the shredder the moment that she feels a little bit bored. Given that the majority of divorces are initiated by women and that very often their reasons are intensely selfish like this fear is understandable. Maya Khalifa is obviously a terrible person, an awful woman, a sociopath who professes her love to a man only to casually stab him in the back and treat their vows like a joke. And she is far from the only woman of this type lurking out there. And this is a source of great anxiety for young men who otherwise long to become husbands and fathers. Frankly, it should be a source of worry for them. But here's the good news. Here's the good news. These types of women, if you're a man, if you're a young man, you gotta just trust me on this. These types of women are easy to spot, okay? You can see the Mia Khalifas of the world from a mile away. And I don't just mean because she's a porn star. I mean a shallow, selfish woman who is concerned for no one's happiness but her own is very obvious most of the time. You should be able to pick up on this in one conversation, let alone a date. If you get a whole date with someone and you're talking to them for, a couple hours, you should be able to tell all this real quickly. It is very unlikely that an awful, self-centered bimbo narcissist will be able to present herself as some kind of high-character woman. Much less will she be able to keep up the act through the entire process of dating and engagement. Now, there are a few masters of disguise out there, but most of them wear their awfulness on their sleeve because it's the only way they know how to be. And they also aren't aware of how awful they are, so they don't know that they should hide it. So then how do men end up with these kinds of women? How did 3 different men propose to Mia Khalifa? Well, that's no mystery either. They become enamored with other aspects of the woman. They allow those other aspects to overshadow the glaring character defects that they definitely do see, and they go out and they buy the ring against their better judgment. So use better judgment. There are plenty of good women in the world, just as there are plenty of good men. If you see a Mia Khalifa walking around out there, just keep going. Keep searching. She's not worth the trouble. Not even close. And that is why Mia Khalifa, and frankly the men who were dumb enough to propose to her, are all today canceled. Hey YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.